Okay, so in this video we're going to practice the four operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. And to do that we're going to work on these three problems, which are just really taking any numbers, random numbers, and putting them into this format. And you'll see how that helps us to practice what we've been learning about. Okay, let's start by writing down the problem. Well, let's read it first. So we've got 33 divided by 13 plus 19 divided by 5. Now, what we're trying to add together, we can't start straight away. We've got to change one of these because we can only add together things that are the same. And clearly we've got 15ths here and 5ths here. So we've got to make them the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase this one. And if I increase this to make it the same as this, so in other words to make 15ths instead of 5ths, if I'm going to increase the divisor here, then I have to do the same to the dividend. So whatever I do one side of the division symbol, I have to do the same the other side. Okay, so I'm multiplying by 3 to get 15, and I'm multiplying the top by 3, so I'm going to end up with 33 divided by 15 plus another divided by 15, but here I've got 3 times 19 just to get it up to be the same as this. So you might want to pause the video here and give that a go. 3 times 19 then. Well, there are several ways of doing this. One way you might not have thought of, which I'm going to do here, is the way we might think about it mentally. So I'm going to write it down because the more we can write down, the better. A, because it gets us out of our head, and you know, if we have too many things mentally going on, especially when we're stressed, then we're going to make mistakes. But also just to show the examiner what we're doing. So 3 times 19 is the same as 3 times 20 subtract 1. So I'm going to distribute the 3 now across the 20 and the 1, equals 3 times 20 is 60, and 3 times 1 is 3, so subtract 3 here. Okay, gives us the answer 57. So I hope that's clear what I've done there. I haven't done anything too radical. You might have done it another way. You might simply have written 3 times 19 and done it either left to right or right to left. I'm not going to follow this through. But this is an equally good way of doing it. It relies on us being able to take numbers apart a bit, multiply out using the distributive law, and get the answer pretty straightforwardly. Okay, so now we've got everything divided by 15, because we've got 15ths, and we've got 33 plus 57. So our next calculation that we're going to attempt is 33 plus 57, and you might want to pause the video and give that a go. Okay, so 33 add 57, I think we can do mentally. We can say it's 30 add 50, so that's 80, and 3 add 7 is 10, so it's 80 add 10 is 90. So we know the answer is going to be 90. But it's always a good idea to do, let's put 57 under here just to complete this. It's always a good idea to try things out. So we'll try adding it. Let's have 57 add 33 to one side here. And let's go right to left. So we've got 3 add 7 is 10. And using the standard algorithm, we write the 0 down, carry the 10, and then we've got 5 add 3 add the 10, or 50 add the 30 add the 10, gives us 90. So that just confirms we've got the right answer here, and we can happily add these along and get 90 divided by 15. So I hope that was pretty straightforward, and you got the same answer. Now we haven't finished because we've got 90 divided by 15. So again, you might want to pause the video and give that a go. Okay, how are we going to divide 90 into 15 equal parts? Well, we might start, again, let's go over to the side here. We might start by laying it out like this. and it's not a long division, it's simply we're simply going to chunk this, so we're going to use the partial quotients method. And what we're going to say is, how many times does 15 go into 90? Well, we go for sort of simple things. If we know that 5 times 15 is 75, let's go for that first. Then make a note that it's times 5. Okay, and then we subtract 90, subtract 75 to get the next stage of the operation. So what's 90 subtract 75? Okay, well, 90 subtract 75, we can do it a number of different ways. Let's use the borrowing method. So we simply borrow from here and carry that 10 over here. So the 10 now is in the ones column. We've got 10 subtract 5 gives us 5, and 80 subtract 70 gives us 10, so a 1 in the tens column. So we've now got 15. So we've got 15 left over, and we've got to divide into it again. So 15 divided by 15 is obviously 1. So we've got 15, 1 times 15, so times 1. And then subtract, 15 subtract 15 is 0. So we've used up all of the 90 because we've got nothing left over, and we just add 1 and the 5 gives us 6, so we multiplied it 6 times, so the quotient here is 6. Okay? Now before just writing the answer in here, let's try it another way. So I'm going to think about simplifying it now. I can see that 90 will divide by 3 and 15 will divide by 3 as well. So 90 divided into 3 equal parts is 30, and 15 divided by 3 is 5, giving us the much simpler division problem of 30 divided by 5. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Just as a check at the end, 6 times 5 is 30, but we can be pretty confident because of the methods we've used that we've got the right answer. So the answer to problem 1 is going to be 6. Let's work on problem 2 then. Now problem 2 has 14th and 21st, so the first thing I've got to do is make these common, so we're adding things that are the same. So we've got 14th and 21st. I can see that the lowest common multiple of 14 and 21 is going to be 42. If you're wondering how I did that, then there'll be another video on just devoted entirely to that topic of the lowest common multiple, finding the lowest common multiple, which is a very, very useful operation. But let's write our 42 down. And now what we've done is we've multiplied this by 3, so that's times 3. So if we multiply the divisor by 3, the dividend has to go up as well. So the dividend is multiplied by 3 as well. So our first challenge here in this problem is to multiply 3 times 29. Okay, you might want to pause the video and give that a go. Okay, well hopefully you thought of this time multiplying 3 times 30 subtract 1, just as we did here, 3 times 20 subtract 1, this time 3 times 30 subtract 1, which would give you 3 times 30 is 90, and then subtract 3, which would give you 87. Now I haven't written this down because it's the sort of thing you should practice doing mentally, and then try another method so that you've got a double check. Okay, then you're less likely to make mistakes. So I'm going to go over to one side here again. Let's go up here. So we've got 3 times 29, and we'll try a different method. So 3 times 29, well, if we go left to right, we've got 3 times 20, that's 60. We've got 3 times 9 is 27. And so we've got 60 add 27 is 87. Okay? So that's a double check of what we were doing, just to make sure. And in fact, I'm going to rewrite that over here, just move it over here, line it up a bit nicely, just to show the examiner, if they're looking, what it is that we did. Okay, 87. Let's just erase that, move that out of the way. Okay, so let's make some progress here now, because we need to get on with the problem. So 3 times 29, we've rewritten that. Well, let's just write the whole thing out first, I think. So we've got 19 divided by 21. I'm going to increase that by 2, so double it. So I double the top. 2 times 19 is 38. Okay, so we've got 38 here divided by 42. So that's rewritten this problem to look like this. So 3 times 29, we've worked out is 87. So we've got at the top 87 plus 38. And we divide through by 42. Okay, so you might want to pause the video again, because this time we've got 87 plus 38. How are we going to add 87 and 38? Just pause the video, give it a go, and then come back and see how we did it. Okay, so 87 add 38. I think what I might think about doing here is just again changing the numbers to make life easier. So this one can go up to 100. So 87 add 13 gives us 100. So we added 13. And in that case, either side of the addition sign, if that goes up, that has to go down. So we're going to subtract 13 from 38. Very straightforward. 38 subtract 13 gives us 25. Okay, so that's rewritten the problem to be much simpler, and we get 125 divided by 42. So the next challenge is to take 125 and divide it by 42. Okay, well, in fact, 125 divided by 42, 42 won't go neatly into 125, and we can't simplify this either. So we've actually got the answer. The answer is 125 divided by 42. But if we wanted to work this out, and it's a good exercise to do that, let's just try 25 here. Sorry, not 25, 125. And put our 42 in that position and use the bus stop. Okay? So 125 divided by 42. Well, this time, just like we did above actually, we're going to use some chunking. So we're going to chunk this up. We've only really got to get, well, we're not going to get very far at all, are we? If we multiply by 2, so increase that by 2, then we're going to end up with 84. And if we add another 42, then we're going to have 126. So we know that, let's write this down, that 42 times 3 is 126. So we need to go to this number or below, so let's just rule that out. So we know that we're going to have a 2 here. So it's going to be 2 times 42 gives us 125. All right, so let's multiply that out. 2 times 42 is 84. Now we've got a subtraction. Subtract 84 from 125. Okay, so 5, let's go right to left. 5 subtract 4 gives us 1. And we've got 2 subtract 8, so let's just borrow again from here. So we've cancelled the 1, carry over the 100, in fact, so we've got 120, subtract 8 gives us 41. So we can see here that we've got 41 divided by 42, and that can't reduce down anymore. In other words, what we've got is 2 and 41 divided by 42. We write it as a fraction. So we've got 2 41/42, if you like. Very awkward, and we wouldn't want to do that. We keep it as 125 divided by 42, and so that's the answer. Okay? Right, problem 3. We've got 22 divided by 12, add 100 divided by 8. Well, again we need the lowest common multiple, so we've got, let's see, 24. So 24 is going to be underneath here, and if I've increased that by 2, multiplied by 2, then I need to do the same to the dividend here. So multiplied by 2, we've got 44. We can do that straight away. 22 times 2, 44. So we've got 44 divided by 24. Same as 22 divided by 12. All right. Now, on this side, this is going to multiply by 3 to get 24. So if we want 24 here, again, increase the bottom, we're going to have to increase the top. So 3 times 8 is 24. So 3 times 100 is 300. Okay? So I hope that's clear. To change these things, all we've done is upped the top and up the bottom, up the top and up the bottom, either side, remember, of the division symbol. You have to do exactly the same thing. Right, now that gives us a bit more of a challenge, but we needed to do that to be able to add the same thing. So we've got 344 divided by 24. So pause the video, give that a go, and see what you get. Okay, so 24 into 344, well, this is something we immediately want to simplify, so we're going to cut it in half just to start us off here. So the bottom, this side of the division symbol, we're going to have as 12. So that means we've brought that one down. We need to bring this one down as well by 2. We've divided by 2, so we're going to divide by 2 the other side of the division symbol as well. All right, 344 divided by 2. Well, there's a number of different ways that we can do that, but if we think of it as two separate things, if we think of it as 300 plus 44, divide that by 2 and divide that by 2, we end up with 150 plus 22, it's 172. Okay, let's do the next one. So halve it again. We're going to go down to 6, and 172 divided by 6, again we can think of that splitting it up, so we can think of that as 160 plus 12, so splitting it up in ways that we think is going to make things simpler. 160 divided by 2 is 80. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we've got 86. Okay? So the next step is to divide it in 2 again, and very straightforwardly, we don't need to do any clever partitioning. All we need to do is write 43 divided by 3. So now we've got a division problem. So again, pause the video and give that a go. Okay, well, 43 divided by 3. A fairly straightforward problem. Let's write it out up here. So 3 into 43. 43 divided by 3. Well, I think the easiest way is to go left to right, just to divide into the 40 first, then carry and divide into that way. So let's try it that way. You might have found an alternative way of doing it. But 3 into 40, well, 3 into this 4 digit here, we've only got 1, so we've got 10. So we're going to have 10 times the 3 gives us 30. Okay? Leaves us with 10 left over, so we've got the 13. 3 into the 13, well, 4 times 3 is 12, so we've got 4, and we'll have a remainder of 1. Okay? So our answer is 14 remainder 1. Now if 14 remainder 1 is a bit of an awkward figure. Think of it this way. We're dividing by 3. We've got 1 left over. So that means we've got 14 and 1 divided by 3. 1 divided by 3 is a third. So our answer is 14 and 1/3. 14 and 1/3. Now you might want to do some checking. You might want to rewind the video and look at some of these things again. But hopefully that's useful practice of all of our calculation skills using the 4 operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division.